Good morning, everybody. Today we are discussing the limitation of planning. Last class we have covered the planning, its process, and what is the importance of planning. We covered planning is nothing but recognizing the need for an action, what to do, how to do, by whom to do, when to do. So that is known as planning, and we discuss about the planning and its important and its process. And today we are discussing about the limitation or demerit or disadvantage of planning. So what are the disadvantages of this planning is that it is a time consuming aspect. So it requires a lot of time for planning. It requires the people or the manager has to sit and think about the planning aspect. So that's why it is a time taking device or a time consuming device. So that is the demerit of this planning, and it is taking a uh, lot of expenditures also whenever someone is doing the planning, because it involves a lot of paperwork, lot of administrative expenditure is occurred. So it is a costly aspect also for planning. Then rigid means which is not flexible enough. If you are not changing based upon the requirement of the time, based upon the change in environment, you are not taking the decision to change the plan, then that is a problem. It is rigid. So that's why you have to be flexible in planning. Then gap between plan and achievement. If there is a huge gap in between the what you planned actual and what you get actually, what you planned and what you actually derived, if there is a huge and hell and heaven difference or gap, then there is a problem. The way you plan, on that basis you have to achieve. There should not be much gap in between the your plan and the actual achievement. Then problem for technical staff. If the technical staff presence is not there, if the right man is not there who are having the technical knowledge regarding a particular project, then that is a problem for the business. So you have to possess the technical person, whether that is the skilled workers or semi-skilled worker who can operate a particular plant on machine, then that is a problem for the business. So problem of technical staff is the limitation. Then resistance to change. You have to change yourself based upon the change in time. You have to register, you have to change yourself. So as the time is changing, you have to change yourself, and the people who are there who are not able to change themselves, then that is a huge problem. So based upon the change in time, you have to adapt changes, you have to apply such changes, is known as change in the time. So those who are resistant, they are not change of themselves due to the change in plan, so that is a problem. As I told earlier, in the costly, it is involved lot of paperwork, lot of black and white is required. You have to make lot of writing, lot of pen and paper required for writing in a this particular planning aspect. So it is the demerit or disadvantage of planning. Then causes frustration. If you are not achieving the plan as per you planned, then that is causes the frustration to the people or the organization or the workers. Then danger of over targeting. There is always a danger of over targeting. If you fixing that particular target, if you are not achieving that target because of over targeting which is not achievable, then that is the limitation of the planning. The way you targeted, you have to achieve the target. Similarly, danger of under targeting. Under targeting means what? If you set the plan below your standard, below your standard or below your benchmark, that is also a dangerous, because what the organization required, what the market required or expecting from you, if you are setting the target below par of you, then that is also not good in case of planning. Then there is a danger of human error. If the human beings are not expertise enough, not experienced enough, then they can't execute the plan properly. That is the demerit or that is the disadvantage or limitations of planning. Then interdepartmental rivalries. Rivalries means competition. If some X department, say production department, has different amount of to produce, and sales department has different having different plan to sell, If production department is planning for a product, then sales department or marketing department has to think about selling of a product only, not the B product. If they are selling the B product, then there is a conflict in between the department or in between the inter department. So that leads to also confusion of the planning. So these are the limitation, or these are the drawbacks we can say, or disadvantage or demerits of planning. Then MBO. This is the most popular term, MBO. MBO means what? Management by objective. In case of management by objective, the group objective is assigned, then the individual objective is also assigned for each worker, and there is a comparison comparison is made from the group objective and individual objective. If you are reaching the group objective, and if you are whatever the through individual objective, if the group objective is achieved, that is well and fine, and there is always a comparison in between what actually you achieved and what the target you set. If what the target you set, if you are reaching that particular target, that means your performance is up to mark, you are performing very good. If you are not reaching the target you set, that means your performance is below optimal or below standard. So management by objective means it is a performance management. How to measure the performance of a particular workers or employee? There is a tool, that is MBO. All the organization is adopting this kind of MBO principle, in which a balance is sought between the objective of employee and the objective of the organization. What is the objective of employee? What can be expected from the employee, and what was the target of organization? So there is always a balance in between those being sought whenever any kind of MBO is concerned. What are the target of the organization? Whatever your achievement, what is the difference has been evaluated through this particular management by objective. It refers to the process of getting goals for the employees so that they know what they are supposed to do at the workplace. So already the target being set to the workers, and there is always a comparison in between the target set and what actually they are do, or they have to do, or they must have to do. So there is always a process, always a comparison between the target and the actual. Management by objective defines roles and responsibility for the employees and help them chalk out their future course of action in the organization. It will help the employees to chalk out the plan based upon their objective. That is known as management by objective. Need and importance of MBO. What is the need? The management by objective process helps the employee to understand their duties at the workplace. Through MBO only you can know what is the duty, what is your responsibility, what can be expected from you, through this MBO only. And it is designed for each employee as per their interest, as per their specialization, and as per your education qualification. The MBO is being made, what is your interest, what is your qualification, what is your potential. On that basis the target is set to each and every employee, and if you are achieving the target being assigned to you, target being set to you, that means your performance is good. If based upon your skill, based upon your efficiency, the target is being set, what the actually you are doing, if there is a huge gap, that means you are a underperformer. At that time the organization, the manager has to take a strong action against the employee or the worker. The employees are clear as to which is expected out of them, so there is no confusion. Everybody knows what is the role, everybody know what can be expected from the organization, because every worker, people or the manager has to expect something from the worker, and every worker know what is the expectation from the organization, what is the expectation from them to the organization. So based upon that they are very much clear, so there is no confusion of the roles and responsibilities. Then management by objective ensures effective communication amongst the employees. It leads to positive ambience at the workplace, because you know what the task you are going to make, so there is no confusion among the employees, and all the information being passed to the particular employees and workers what exactly they are going to do. The MB process leads to highly motivated and committed employees. So if knowing what is the objective you are going to do, then you are quite committed. You can do and you can put your efforts to achieve that goal. If the goal is not set, so there is uh, always you are going blindly or haphazardly to reach your objective. That is not a quite good decision. So that's why you with the particular MBO, you are highly motivated and highly committed to achieve your objective. MBO is a kind of benchmark for every employee. So in MBO, the target for everybody is not same. The way you are putting the efforts, the way you are reaching your target, X person to Y person, the target is different. The way X is producing the output or showing his efficiency, Y is not showing that much. That means the target of X and target of Y in the coming future, that will be definitely different. So the benchmark is different from person to person. Employee become loyal, less burden, stick long term to the organization. As the employee know what is the expectation by the organization to him, what is the target going to be achieved by him or her in the future. So that's why there is the employee is much more loyal, much more less burden, and they are quite stick that the job is quite secure and they will continue the organization for a longer period of time. Then this is the MBA process. So MBA process starts with determine or revise the catalog. Okay. Now we are discussing about the MBO process. MBO process starts with determine or revise the organization objective. MBO process start with the what is the objective of the organization. Then translating the organization objective to employee. After having a clear cut about your objective of the organization, that is simply translated, simply transfer to the employees. So always a goal, always an objective should be smart. Why the organization's objective should be smart? Because SMART, smart. Smart means S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for attainable, R stands for realistic, and T stands for time bound. That is the particular abbreviation of this SMART. Every goal has to be SMART. SMART means specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. So that's why whatever the target or objective being set, that is completely transferred to each and every employee. Then stimulate the participation of the employees in the determining of the objective. So every objective, every employee are stimulated means motivated to achieve the target, achieve their goal. Next one is monitoring the progress. How far you are reaching your target, how far you are reaching your objective, that is being monitored. Whether you are going with the right direction or not, whether you are producing the whatever the output, whatever the efficiency as expected or as the goal set by the organization or not, that is being monitored. Then evaluate and reward achievement. Suppose X is a person, the organization of the, suppose the organization objective is to produce 10,000 units of output in total, and your expectation, your workers expectation, each and every worker has to produce 500 units of output, and according to that every worker is assigned certain duties, responsibilities, certain output is being expected. Suppose a worker just produce 400 units of output, the expectation, the goal is being set to the individual objective, that is 500 units of output. The organization objective is to produce 10,000 units of output. As the individual objective is 500 units being targeted, the actual is made 400 unit by the individual worker. That means there is a gap of 100 units. At that time the organization has to take precaution how this worker will improve their performance. If this MBO is a kind of performance measurement tool. Similarly, the worker who is producing either 500 or above, or if already produced the 500 units of output, next time the target will be more than 500. Or if you achieved your 500 target, or you are producing 600 units of output, that means what? You are performing outstanding. Your performance is outstanding. So that's why when you are rewarded and there is a much more incentive will be given. That depends upon the organization based upon performance, whether he will remove you or whether he will reward you. So that depends upon the objective being set as an individual objective and the target being set by the organization. Then this particular process being continue. It starts from determining the objective of the organization, then translating that organization objective to the employees, then stimulate participation of employees in the determining of the objective, then monitoring the progress, and at last evaluate and reward achievement. We have to give reward to those employees who are performing outstanding and whose performance is outstanding. We have to give certain feedback to those employees, and we have to ask the worker to take precaution to improve their performance or output if they are underperformer. So this is the process of what MBO. Then limitation of MBO. It sometimes ignored the prevailing culture and working condition of the organization. Whatever the culture of the organization is prevailing, that MBO is not concerned. So that is the demerit. The MBO process sometimes do treat individual as mere machines. What a machine can produce, whenever you want anything output from the machine, you can get from the machine. But if you are treating the human being as same as machine, then that is a wrong. The individuals or the workers should not be treated as mere machine. Then there works lack of innovation and creativity. If you are target oriented, if you want to achieve the target, then there is always you can't achieve your you are not a creativity, you can forego the creativity. Innovation also, you will not get any kind of innovation on that case. So that's why it lacks innovation and creativity whenever there is a target being there to you as an employee. It it increases comparison also. You should compare. In case of MBO, the workers always compare their output, their efficiency with other workers, which leads to frustration or which leads to a mental disorder for them to improve the thing. So that's why it increases the comparison, which is not a good sign for the company. So these are the limitation or these are the demerits of management by objective. In a nutshell, what I will tell in MBO, in MBO, the organization objective is being set, and the simply that objective being transferred to the individual objective. Individual know, the worker know what they are going to achieve. The target, individual target is being set, and what the actual target they are made. There is always a comparison in between the individual work or individual performance with the group objective. If the certain employee performing outstanding, then they will be rewarded. If the target, whatever the target being set, if they are performing more than that, they have to be rewarded. If they are underperformer, they are not reaching the target being set earlier, then the organization has to take some measures so that the employee or worker will perform better and better in the coming future. So this MBO is a kind of performance measurement tool. Then decision making. What is decision making? In our day-to-day life also, we are taking number of decisions. Suppose an organization want to replace the machine of the organization after the complete expiry of the life of the machine. Suppose the life of the machine is something like 10 years. After the completion of 10 years, the organization need to replace the machine. So which machine is right, which project is right for the particular organization or a manager, there is always a dilemma. So whether it is the right time to replace the machine, at what price they have to replace the machine, and there are number of machines are available to them, and which could be the right machine for them. That is the decision a company has to take. Decision making means what? Choosing the best among the alternative available. Whenever an organization is facing any kind of problem, the way the manager is taking decision to solve the problem is known as decision making. So decision making is a mental process of selecting a course of action from a set of alternatives for the purpose of desired result. To get your desired result, you have to select the best alternative among the what are the alternatives available to you. That is known as decision making. In our day-to-day life also, we are taking a lot of decision. Similarly, after completion of 10th or matriculation, a student should choose either science, commerce or arts. That is the decision that they have to take based upon their strength as well as weakness. So in our day-to-day life, as we are taking the decisions, different decision, and we could choose the best decision which is suitable for us. Similarly, the manager has to choose the best one among the alternatives which are available to him. That is known as decision making. It is a purely a mental process. Then features. The features of decision making is it is a rational thinking. It is a rational thinking. Rational thinking means suppose you can't choose a project, you can't choose a proposal where the cost is more and benefit is less. So that's why while taking decision, you have to be rational. What is being expected from you as a human being or a particular rational person, that way only you have to take the decision. Then process. What is process? This particular decision making is a continuous process. It is a process. If you choose the wrong decision, then you have to revise your decision. Okay, no doubt the revision of the decision is very much costly, but you have to change the decision, you have to revise. Then selective, you have to select the best one among the alternatives which is available to you. Then purposive, all the decision making is having a particular purpose or a particular result. Then while taking the decision, you have to be positive. Even though your competitors are selling the same type of product, but you have to be positive that your product will catch the market. So that is, you have to be optimism that your product will catch the market. Then commitment, everybody has to commit the resources, commit the man, material, everything towards that, and every human being has to obey, has to follow once the particular decision has been taken. Then evaluation, on the decision making process there is a evaluation. You have to compare whether you are right or wrong in your decision. So that's why the complete evaluation should be also be there in case of decision making. Then process, what is the process of this particular decision making? You have to identify the problem, gathering necessary information or gathering information. Suppose your problem is choosing a machine. For that, what you have to gather information. Suppose you want to purchase a AC, air condition. So what is your problem? Nowadays there is a summer season, you want AC, you know, to feel better. So what is your problem? Getting AC is the problem. Then gathering information, what are the different brands of AC are available in the market. There are different brands are available, Voltas available, Blue Star available, Godrej available, different brands are available. For that you have to collect the information, that is gathering the of the information. What is the particular objective or particular problem? To get an proper AC. Next one is you have to collect the information. The next one is identify the alternative. You have to identify the alternatives which are available. You have to go to the market, you have to collect the information, and you have to identify those alternatives. Then weigh the evidence. You have to see according to your budget, according to your feasibility, which AC is suitable for you. Similarly, any kind of organization, whenever any kind of project comes, whenever any kind of decision they have to take, they have to weigh. Weigh means what? They have to measure how far it is predictable, how far it is desirable, how far it is feasible. Based upon that, they have to take the decision. That is known as weigh the evidence. Then choose among alternatives. They have to choose because they have to select a particular project only. They can't choose all the projects. Suppose A, B, C, D, E alternatives are available to a particular manager. A manager could not choose all the A, B, C, D, E 5 projects. He has to choose only the best alternative, and up by rejecting all the alternatives. Suppose E project is selected, E alternative is selected, then automatically A, B, C, D is rejected. You can't choose all the alternative because there is a always finance constraint is always there. All the projects are having capital oriented or money is involved. It is all economic. So that's why you can't choose all the alternative or all the projects. So then you have to take action. For purchasing a particular thing, you have to pay money and or you have to take action. Then review a decision. After purchasing it, after using it, you have to review a decision. How far you are good in taking decision, whether the particular alternative or particular project has fulfilled as per your action or not, and that is known as review your decision. So in the process of decision making, one has to go for to understand what is the problem. He has to identify what is the problem. Then what are the information required to be gathered or captured from the market, they have to gather those information. Then they have to identify the alternatives. Then they weigh the evidence, what are the evidence are available, whatever the informations are available to them, what how far it is predictable, desirable and feasible, they have to search. Then choose among alternative, they have to choose anyhow from the alternative. Then take necessary action. Okay, then review your decision. After using that particular thing, after implementing the things, only you can able to review how far the decision you have taken is good decision or bad decision. You can able to know, and you have to review your decision. This is a continuous process. So this is all about the decision making process what we discussed today. And today we covered the different planning and its limitation, the demerits of planning. Okay, planning, we discussed time consuming aspect, it is costly, rigid, gap between plan and achievement is too much. Then problem for technical staffs. Okay, if you are not having proper technical staff also, that is dangerous. Then some people are not ready to change the ready to accept the changes in the organization. For them, implementation of the planning is very much difficult, and this planning involve lot of time taking device, lot of costly device. Then there is always a frustration if you are not getting what are the plan being set. And if setting your target more than your target to be achievable, then the plan is going to be end. Then if your target being set which is under target, your plan is failed at that time. And if whatever the employee, they are not experienced, they are not that much of qualified, if they are doing while implementing the target or plan, then there is always a human error, the planning is not successful. If the department objective is different and the X department is having different objective and Y department is having other objective, then the plan is not at all successful. If sales department is to sell A product, whereas the production department want to produce B product, at that time, because of their rivalry, because of the competition, the planning may not be successful. Then MBO, we discussed management by objective. Okay, it is a kind of thing where one can measure the performance of the worker, where the individual objective is also decided and the group objective is also decided, and group objective is translated to the individual objective, and everybody want together work together to achieve the group objective. And there is always a comparison, what is the target being set to you as an individual and what actually you achieve. There is always a comparison in between the actual target and the target being set. If there is a huge gap, then the organization has to take certain precaution. If your target is to produce 500, you are producing 400, then there is a gap. So the organization has to motivate the workers or employees how the worker can improve 400 to 500. If the any worker who is with a limited time or limited effort produced the 500, we have to give reward. And whenever next time the target has to be set not 500 but 600. So it is a kind of performance measurement tool, that is MBO, management by objective. Then this is the MBO process which starts with the determination of the objective, what the objective being set, that is being determined earlier. And I told that that has to be translated to the particular employees, and I told that the goal has to be, the objective should be SMART, SMART, that is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic and time bound. And with a party, the goal should be specific one specific. The organization has to clearly define what is the organization objective. Then measurable. One goal has to be measured in quantities, measurable, then attainable. Everybody can achieve that particular objective or goal. Then it should be realistic, it should not be unreal, and it should be time bound. Time bound means what? It has to be achieved with a limited time period only. That is the first process, is determining the organization objective. Next is that is simply translated or transferred to the employee know what their individual objective. Then it stimulate the participation of employee in the determination of the objective. So it stimulates, it motivates the worker to know the what is the objective being set, or to determine the objective. Then monitoring the progress, how, what is the objective being set, and how much you achieve that one. Is there any gap or not? If you are achieved or not, that is being monitored. Evaluate and reward achievement, then it is evaluated how far you are achieved. If you are achieved, then you are good, you are a good worker, the bonus is being given or extra incentive is given for your out performance. If you are underperformer, then that based upon the organization policy, whether you will be dismissed or there is next time you will be given an different way, so that you can improve yourself. So this is the kind of MBO process, management by objective. It helps, if you take MBO helps to the workers to stick with the what is the objective being set, and they will work together. They will see the individual performance much more priority, so that whatever the target being assigned to them, they can achieve the task or achieve that particular output or the efficiency in an easier manner. Next, limitation of MBO. These are the limitation of MBO, because in MBO there is not a concern about the innovation. You are stick with what is your target, and only target. So you always compare your target with other targets. So that is not quite good. It is, you are monotonous also. You are not treated as a human being. Only and only you are a production agent, where you are, your efficiency is being judged with the production only, where you are not treated as a human being, you are treated as a machine. That is a limitation of management by objective. Then decision making means what? You have to choose the best one among the alternatives or choices available to you. There are different choices are there, different alternatives will be available to a manager, and he has to choose the best one among the alternatives which are available. If A, B, C, D, E alternatives are available, it is the manager who could not choose all the alternative. He has to choose only a single alternative or single choice. That is known as decision making. And decision making features are, it is rational. Rational, why? Because it should not be cost too much high or benefit low. It should be, cost should be less and benefit should be more. So that's why rational. It is a process, it is a continuous process, and it, you have to select the best one. So that's why it is selective, and there is a particular purpose is there, particular result is also oriented, and you are quite positive in your decision making. Even though things will go wrong, even though there are a lot of marketers are there, competitors are there, you know, you are quite positive or optimistic to achieve your target. So that's why it should be positive. Then your commitment, you have to see, once the decision is made, then every human being, every human power or workers should work together, commit together to achieve that particular objective. And there is a evaluation of the decision, whether you took the right decision or wrong decision, it has to be evaluated. Then this is the process of decision making. You have to identify your problem. Then after identifying those problems, you have to gather different kind of information. Then you have to identify the alternatives, and you can weigh the evidence. Weigh the evidence means what? You have to see the feasibility, predictability, and desirability of that particular alternative, how much it is suitable for your organization. So that is known as weigh the evidence. Then choose among alternative. You have to choose, you have to choose the best one, whatever the alternative is available to you. And after that, you have to take an action while purchasing the particular thing, or taking or selecting the particular thing. Then you have to review your decision, whether you are going on a right track or wrong track while selecting a particular decision, or choosing a particular alternative. You have to review your decision. So this is all about today. We discuss about the limitation or demerit or disadvantages of planning, and management by objective, which is very much important for the examination point of view, and also decision making, which is very much crucial to a manager. Thank you.